What up? This is Dr. Rizzo. I'm a psychologist here in Bakersfield, and I want to talk to you about a service that I provide. One of the things that I do is I do evaluations for ADHD, autism, anxiety, depression, whatever it may be. Typically, it's the things that are causing the most problems in somebody's life. And what I do is I figure out what's happening. But my evaluations, my methods don't come from just somebody who went to school, studied hard, and then now they're here. I did that. But my evaluations come from the perspective of someone who's lived that life. I'm probably one of the most hyperactive people that you've ever met. And I've had to drill down and understand myself, do an evaluation on myself, put interventions on myself in order to become the husband, the father, and the worker that I want to be. So if you're interested, if you're having problems, if there's some difficult moments, whether with you or with your kids, I'm your guy. Feel free to reach out. My contact number, my number to the office is 661-932-7243. I look forward to hearing from you. Hey, what up? Marissa,
Hey, Jonathan, how's it going?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Good.
Is
Thanks
this-
for having me.
Is this your first time?
First time ever.
Ever?
Yeah.
Dang. How does it feel to be live on camera?
A little nervous, but we're going to get this done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, the good thing is it's only 30 minutes.
30 minutes.
That's easy
The
money.
breeze, yeah.
We can talk like that. We can go through it like that. Marissa, I want to share a little bit about her. Very, very, very smart, very intelligent, puts in work, grinds it out. She honestly, sometimes like when she's doing work around me, she's one of my coworkers. I'm kind of like, man, she's better than me.
Stop it.
Yeah, I mean that. The work you do so fast and so quick. I love it. And what she does is what we call, she's a behaviorist, right? Is
That's
that the
right.
way you describe it? As a behaviorism, right?
Yes.
So she's a clinical supervisor for an ABA company. And she just started, huh?
I sure did. As a clinical supervisor, yes. But I've been in the ABA field for 6 years.
Talk to us about what the ABA field is.
So applied behavior analysis is science-based strategies. And, we use the science to work with the kids with autism, behaviors, ADHD, any diagnosis you have, and, apply strategies to help them live a better life and how to work through it.
These are some hard kids too, huh?
Yeah,
These are like the hard kids.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part about what you do?
Honestly, it's building relationships with the clients, with the families, and seeing their success. Everything we do is for them to succeed and be better in the world.
Yeah, well, because that's the goal. I work with the kids with a lot of clients too, and these clients are not easy. They're like headbanging.
Yeah.
They're beating themselves up. They're doing sexualized behaviors that they don't know how to do typically.
Right.
They're screaming, they're yelling. These are typically the kids that people run away from.
Correct.
But you run towards.
Right.
Why?
Because there's always a solution. There's a solution to everything.
There always is a solution.
There
huh?
is. Yes.
Are the solutions easy to find?
It's like a puzzle piece, They may not be easy, but they're there. It's just our intervention that's going to be able to work.
And the best part about our field is we work in home.
Yes, we do.
Right. And a part of what we do is not just work with the kid, but we work with the whole home, huh?
Right. Building that relationship with the families, number one, is key. And having that trust,
Yeah, trust is everything.
Yeah,
Do you listen to somebody if you don't trust them?
I don't.
You don't? No way. Yeah.
I hear what they have to say, but I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, oh, yeah. I mean, I kind of will hear what they say.
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, if I don't trust them or if I don't think that they care for me,
correct.
kind of like whatever, man.
Yeah.
One ear out the other.
Yeah.
But part of the people that we work with, these parents, they're not having an easy time.
Correct. So we have to be able to determine, how can we help them? How can we assist them as well? And, finding resources for them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
parenting's hard, huh?
It sure is.
What's your hardest job in life?
Parenting, of course, being a teen mom wasn't easy. And I had two by the age of 18.
You're a teen mom?
I was.
Dang! That's a journey. That
It
is
was.
a journey.
Yeah.
But before we go there, I want to talk about who else is Marissa. Talk to us about a little bit about you.
Who am I? Who am I now?
Yeah. No, start from the beginning. Like, how old are you, or how much did you weigh when you were born? How long?
Stop it.
No, but give us a general synopsis of like childhood. Maybe a little bit about what inspired you as a child or in high school to become to move towards where you're at. Maybe a little bit about what your earlier careers are. What brought you here?
Yeah, so as a child, I was raised by my mom, a single parent, and my grandmother and grandpa. And always seeing them, I always saw like, oh, wow, life is just perfect. I never saw the arguments. I never saw all that. But they always showed me, how to be a hard worker, how to, accomplish what I want.
Yeah.
By going and getting it. And moved to Bakersfield by the age of 10.
Where were you from?
Lindsay, Tulare County.
Okay, right on the street. Okay,
Yeah.
I know Lindsay.
Yeah. So I was there and then came here when I was 10, and I've been here since. I was a teen mom at the age of 16. And that was very difficult. One thing that my mom did, instill in me was like I was gonna have to give up my life for my kids, and that was a choice that I made, and I'm glad that I did that. Yeah,
hey, that's legit. I give you props for that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So that was high school, and then what happened after high school? So you're a teen mom.
Teen mom doing independent studies.
Oh, you finished independent studies?
Yeah.
Hey, girl,
From
you did
Ridgeview
the
High
whole
School.
grind. Oh man.
Yeah.
So you finished your independent study, and then what did you do after high school?
So I was I've had a job. I had a job at 16 at a restaurant. After that, I'm like, this is not the life that I want.
So you've been grinding since you were a kid, huh?
Correct.
They taught your parent, your mom and your grandma taught you how to put in the reps.
Right. Like it's not going to be easy, but we have to do it. And I was, dedicated to my girls.
Yeah.
So I did what I had to do. After I left the restaurant, I, started at a school district. And then from there, I was there for 14 years being a parent, a mom.
Wow.
And just worked there. And during
14 years.
14 years. And during that time, I was able to go to college. I went to, Fresno Pacific.
Atta girl. FPU.
That's right.
I like that. I'm a FPU. I'm a professor out there. What's up?
Yeah. Obtained my AA, BA, and then now I just graduated with my master's a few months ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's a journey. Why did you choose this master's? Why did you choose because you jumped into a hard field.
Correct.
Why did you jump in to this field out of all the ones you could have done?
I wanted more. I'm such an ambitious person that I want to continue moving up. I don't like just staying stagnant. And I felt like moving into a different field where I could help people, not just help the client, but the entire family.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going to be able to succeed as well. And it's going to fulfill me.
And so for you, the best way, because helping the clients, you say you worked with kids for how many years in the school?
Oh, 14 plus.
14 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw that you can help some of those kids.
Correct.
You can make some impact and honestly, just by showing up consistently, we make an impact.
Right.
If most people don't know, you just got to show up daily and you'll be all right. But for some of those kids, were you not able to make an impact because of what was happening in the homes?
Correct. I just felt like I needed more. I needed to be able to get to the parent because the parent is a key. Their environment in that home is where we would be able to make the most change.
Yeah. And those environments, how were some of those environments of the students that you worked with?
They were tough. If they came, off that bus, we could already tell like, oh, he's not having a good morning. Yeah. She's not okay. Yeah. We need to, take it easy or, approach him in a different way. Yeah.
So I'm with Marissa. I've worked with the severely handicapped, general ed, all of it. And like she's saying, there are some days, there was a student even last year when he got off the bus, Oh
You just
boy,
knew.
we knew. Well, because he was physically aggressive. You could see in the eyes,
Yeah.
and then the precursor behaviors where he started repeating his schedule. He wanted to get to the end of the day, end of the day, end of the day, and then all the stuff
Right.
that wasn't coming, whack.
Yeah, that's tough.
It's
That's
tough.
Yeah.
And part of the reason, and he was severely handicapped. He's severely autistic
Mhm.
and intellectually disabled, right?
Yeah.
I have other kids in that class, autistic and intellectually disabled, but they're not hitting.
Right.
But what they didn't have, what he had in his home, mom wasn't there.
Right.
Mom wasn't out of the picture. Dad was barely surviving. So he's being raised by his grandma. No structures at home.
Yeah.
And for me to change, and I'm telling you, Marissa, I put in so much work with that kid.
Yeah.
And guess what the results were?
I
didn't touch the home, though. I didn't touch the home. I put in as much work as I could at the school, and guess what the results were?
You had improvement.
Had some improvement.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I didn't touch the home, and I didn't get as much improvement as we needed.
Yeah.
And honestly, he may end up in a different class, like a more severe special day class.
Right. We didn't maximize that work.
I lost. I saw it as a loss.
You maybe impacted that client then.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
did. I
Yeah.
did. And I impacted the best I could.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, not being in the home,
Yeah.
I couldn't get the results that I wanted.
Yeah.
So I see why you jumped into the field that you're in, because we're directly in the homes.
Directly in the home, yes.
We see them when they get off the bus.
Right.
And they may have not had a good day at school, and we get to help the parents
Yeah.
provide those structures.
Yeah. We're able to see the behind the scenes that people don't see. Life is not perfect, guys. Like, we all struggle with it. We may look like we're good up here, but you know what? We all struggle behind the scenes with, mental health, with, stress, burnout, the kids.
Relationship issues.
There you go. Relationship issues is number one as well, burnout in the work field as well. So we have to take care of us and our mental health and, practice mindfulness.
Yeah. So for you, you're in the field, you jumped into the great field, and you jumped in as a parent into a field where you're helping parents.
Correct.
Have you learned some things about how your style of parenting while you're working with other students and other parents?
Yeah, honestly, just being empathetic and motivating them, being a support for them, and finding them resources. I see how much impact finding them resources and being there guiding them has impacted many families. And, the growth and the progress shows as well as providing them with motivation for the support that they need.
Yeah.
Some parents here are alone,
Yeah. Have you ever felt in that same position as some of your parents?
I have. So
talk to me about that.
I also have to practice my mindfulness and take my breaks, and just to know when to detach. And when I mean by detach is like, go do something that I like to do.
Yeah.
What can that be? Taking a walk, going for a hike, doing some stress relief or some like heavy lifting at the gym, reading a book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just being still is also a great strategy.
Yeah, it reminds me of what the scripture says. There was this prophet who was trying to figure out where's God, in which way is God, and a storm came, big storm came. Is that God?
Yeah.
No. And then there was this big old twister came. Is that God? No.
Okay.
And then there was just this cool breeze. Silence.
Yeah.
That's where God was.
Yeah.
Simply in the present moment.
Right.
Right?
Right.
Just being present,
right.
being available,
Mhm.
getting out of your head,
Right. Right.
being in your senses, which is where life's at.
Right.
Life's not in this little noggin. It's where you can see, what you can see, feel, what
Right.
you can touch, what you can
Right.
breathe. So you use those strategies, but Marissa, I want to take it, because we're already at 12. We're already at 15 minutes. Oh my God. I want to take the next 5 minutes. I want you to talk to me about your parenting journey with you and your daughters. How has that been? And what did
Parenting
you-
journey,
Yeah.
man. So I have, I call my 2 oldest daughters the big girls, and then I have the 2 younger ones, the little ones. So I thought just by giving them everything, the big girls, was the way to do it. And I learned pretty quick that that's not how you do it.
What do you mean giving them everything?
Give
Hey, talk to me a little more about that.
Electronics, candy, goodies, everything they desire. I'm here. I'm your mom. I'm going to give it all to you.
Yes.
That's
yes.
not the way. So we have to teach them right, you know.
What ages did you do that at?
Oh, from the two oldest ones,
Yeah.
birth to 10,
Okay.
15.
Okay. So
know?
you saw the result of that though, huh?
Correct.
What was it?
Well, to be honest, they were entitled. They feel entitled. They're, you know, learning to be better now because they see how hard it takes to get and obtain items. You know, you have to work for what you want. And they see that through me. You know, I have a loving husband that supports me, that he's dedicated, whatever they need as well. He will guide you, you know, he will guide the home as well, how to, you know, get what you want.
Yeah. But I think that, you know, you're hitting on a key point, you know, because even as a parent for me,
Right.
so I want to give my kids more.
Right.
I don't want to have to yell at them and tell them what they want, what not to do.
Right.
I don't want to do that, especially after I've had a long day where I'm telling parents, teaching them what not to do.
Yeah.
I don't want to go home and do that same thing, but
Right.
and instead, what I would rather do, I want them to like me. I'm like, I would want to give them everything. I see the temptation.
Yeah.
I see the temptation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the consequence, though,
Right.
is painful.
It is. It is.
Because because they learn what? What do they learn when you give them everything?
No stability. They don't know how to work for things. They don't know how to go out and get things. So that's where the other two younger ones come in. So, you know, I have a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old, and they will work. They will be there if you need anything. They will sell whatever they need to sell. They're workers, you know, they're going to earn what they want and what they need extra.
What did you do differently with them? Just made it when they were younger, from 0 to 10. What did you do differently?
Honestly, it was my husband. He's supported us and he's guided us, and he taught me, like, you can't just give and give and give. You have to teach them to earn what they want.
Yeah. That male tug, huh?
Yeah. And honestly, like, you know, being in church and having them there is also helped.
Well, and the reason why is church brings you back to church, God. It brings us back to what's meaningful to us.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. At the end of the day, iPad's not meaningful to us.
Yeah.
My phone's not meaningful to us.
Yeah, the material things don't matter.
Right. And I think that's where I want my kids to go to church too.
Yeah.
I want somebody else to teach them.
Right.
Hey, these material things aren't what's important.
Right.
It's the reps that you put in.
Mm-hmm.
It's the person that you are today.
Right.
It's how you treat others.
Right.
You know, I care more about how somebody treats me than the car they drive.
Correct.
You're right.
It's their character. It's everybody's character, you know. What are we teaching? You know, what are we showing?
So what you did is you took a different approach with your younger ones.
Yes.
But not only did you take a different approach, but then you allowed your husband and all of you guys started going to church together.
Correct.
And you started letting him kind of pull you a little bit out towards a different way.
Correct.
How was that experience when he was trying to pull you the opposite way?
It was difficult. I'm not gonna lie.
Was it like an easy transition? You're like, yeah, that makes sense. I'm not gonna buy them stuff when they want.
No, it was not. I was like, but why? It's okay. No, I had to learn real quick, and it's like, oh, okay, I see why you're doing this. I see the, you know, the point behind it, and you know, I'm very thankful and grateful for him as well. You know, and I'm here to support him. He always, you know, gives me that scripture in Proverbs, iron sharpens iron. That's and real. Here we're here for each other.
That's real. That's because, you know, the hardest part about parenting to me, and even for Father's Day yesterday, even a little bit yesterday, the hardest part about parenting is learning to negotiate with your spouse.
Yeah.
That compromising. You know, one of the things that, you know, for example, my wife has a hard time with the churches at class, with the classes at church, because, you know, there's a lot of different reasons. It's hard to take kids start crying when you try to drop them off. Yeah. And there's a lot of different other reasons, right? And not being in the habit either.
Right.
So, you know what I wanted this Father's Day?
Just to go to church.
I wanted my kids to go to class.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's great.
So my wife wasn't on board with that at first. She was kind of like,
Yeah.
So I could feel the tug.
Yeah.
So my push was, I'll go to class with them.
Another thing my husband has taught me, being uncomfortable is not a bad thing. It's
Mm.
showing growth. It's showing that you're getting stronger, and we're going to be better individuals because God stated we will.
I don't know if you heard the conversation in my office with my dad. We were talking about this. He said that somebody said in his Bible study, God will never give you more than what you can handle. And my dad's like, I wonder what Job would think about that statement.
Yeah.
Job was, all his kids were killed, all that stuff. And he's like, I wonder what
Yeah.
Paul would think about that statement, killed, right? Is that the way life really is? Or is the way to growth being uncomfortable?
Mhm.
Or when you are overwhelmed,
Right.
when you do get too much, when you do reach that failure point, that's when you reach the most growth.
Right. You know what? I've learned to look towards God and let him know it's here, God, it's for you. I'm ready for your next step. And then that's when he will guide me.
What's that surrendering?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
It's the surrendering.
Correct.
There's this guy named Eckhart Tolle. He's not necessarily Christian, but he says all pain psychologically, like stress, anxiety, is resisting what is.
Mm. Yeah.
It's resisting what's already there
Yeah.
in front of you. No, that didn't happen. No, that person didn't die.
Right. Right.
No, that didn't. My wife's not going to leave me.
Right.
All psychological pain
Yeah.
exists in resistance. And that's where, again, I go back to the Christian teachings. Even if you don't believe in God, just taking the teachings, your life's going to improve.
Right.
Because it's that point of surrendering.
Right.
That point of saying, look, I know it's not easy, but here it is. Now, we're about 8 minutes left. I want to get into some other core parenting skills. Okay. If you were to talk to the audience, all three of them, two of them.
Hey, guys. Yeah.
If you were going to talk to these people and you're going to leave them with 3 different parenting skills, we'll start with one. What would be the first one?
Well, if you have a spouse, be united in, the mindset
Oh, that's good.
for both,
Oh, that's
one
good.
mindset.
How do you get in one mindset?
You just have to, come to an agreement. What is the best thing for us as the parents for these kids, as their teachers.
So what you're saying is you got to have open conversations.
Oh, yeah. And they're hard. They're tough. I'm not going to lie. They're tough.
You got to
Yeah.
have those open conversations and focus not necessarily on the details, but focus on what you can agree on.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, I say this often. I'm like, I don't really care if people choose left. I don't really care if they choose right. What I care about is we choose the same way
Correct.
and that we go the same way.
Yeah.
And I think so, but to do that though, you have to have those open and raw conversations.
Yes. Yes.
And what's the best way to have that with a woman?
Listen to us. Listen to us,
Like,
and
should
then
I take my wife out to dinner when I'm doing it? Like,
Yeah.
what's some advice?
Yeah, just focus. Pay attention to what she is communicating.
So it's listening.
Hear
It doesn't
her
matter
out.
the environment. It matters with listening first, huh?
Correct.
Dang it.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. Just by the way, Marissa's our first female guest for me. Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Mhm.
So having open and raw conversations
Yeah.
and working towards
Right.
what you can agree on.
Yeah. Even if we don't come up with a conclusion at that moment, come back and solve the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever leave and pray about it?
Yes, most definitely.
Yeah.
You have to. Having a blended family is hard.
That I can see that having a non-blended family is freaking hard. My Lord,
Yeah.
man. I was grumpy half of Father's Day yesterday just because my wife said some things that I didn't like. At the end of the day, I was like, those stuff she said doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter.
But I was still my feelings hurt over very little stuff.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine the blended part.
Yeah.
So you have to. Okay. Now, that was really good. What would be a good advice for a blended family?
That's communication. We have to have those raw conversations,
Let's keep it
you
back to that.
know. And it's rough, you know. It's not going to be like all fun and games, or
It's not gonna be
rainbows and
flowers and bubbles.
no, rainbows and unicorns. No, it's like there's gonna be tears, you
Yeah.
know. I'm
Yeah.
a very emotional person, so there's tears coming from me
Yeah.
even when I'm happy. But yeah, having those conversations and being raw and explaining why
Yeah.
this choice is
Yeah.
good for our kids
Do
and for
you-
our marriage.
Do you ever have to reflect on, like, is my past involving me in this? Is my past affecting my decisions in this? Or is my past affecting what I believe?
I don't believe so. I left my past in the past, and I just move forward. And what God has for me is bigger and better than the past,
Fantastic.
and that's all I'm looking towards.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because I found that sometimes in some of my arguments,
Mm.
and I had to work on that.
Yeah.
I had to work on, like, sometimes I was like so caught up in a conversation, no, 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 and I realized I'm saying no to a different woman.
Yeah.
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 You know what I mean? I had to fight over that. All right, Marissa, what is another parenting advice you would give a family? So we got raw,
Yeah.
be real.
Honestly, hear your kids out. See what they're trying to communicate, because they always display different behaviors, and sometimes we don't know what it
Ooh,
is.
that's good.
You know? And I used to jump in and like, oh, what do you want? What do you need? Again, giving everything, problem solving. And it's like, no, they just want us to be there as their parent. Listen, like, hey, I'm here. This is what I did. Or, I'm just letting you know.
So being able to listen to them.
Yeah.
And when you're listening to them and say they're having a problem, do you help that problem? Do you intervene with that problem? Or do you just kind of let them deal with it on their own?
Honestly, recently, my husband and I have developed like a problem solving. Okay, what can you do to solve this? Is there a solution? Do you need the parents to be involved? Like, how intense is this problem? Because they need to also learn those skills themselves.
Yeah. I don't want them to call me for every problem.
Right?
Yeah. What the heck? When people call me for problems, I'm like, this better be an emergency if you're calling me. If you're interrupting my sandwich.
Right. It has to be an emergency, or you just like, hey, send me a text. I'm doing this. I'll be over here, just so I know as a parent, like, that you're okay.
And I think at that point too, when you're listening to your kids, you have a pulse on where they're at.
Correct.
You have a pulse on how they're doing stable, like mindset wise, how they're doing with their feelings, how they're doing the emotions, but also kind of what they're involved in too, right?
Correct. Yeah. Their circle, even in today's society, like, sometimes we don't know where these kids are going, what they're doing, who they're hanging out with. And that also has to do with how they are brought up.
It's very similar. Then we have to have open and raw conversations with not only our spouses.
Yeah.
Got to be able to do that with our kids too.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. And sometimes, what I went to with my dad, he's like, not from a friend standpoint, but from a parent standpoint.
Yeah.
You got a ton of friends. Go talk to them.
Right.
But from a parent standpoint, I got to listen to you, hear you. Wow.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And you know what I add to that? You know what raw means? Another word for raw is for me?
What is it?
Just being real.
Yeah, real is 100%.
Just being
Be
real.
honest. That's one of the rules in our household. And be honest.
Yeah.
You don't need to lie or like be behind the bush, how the kids say it nowadays.
Yeah.
Just tell me, what do you want? And having boundaries and, having those rules if they need them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because what the scripture says the truth will set you free.
Mm-hmm.
But the alternative word for truth, being real, will set you free.
Yeah.
And I think that's one thing that's really hard for us to be is real, because we're scared we're going to get in trouble or there's some insecurities.
Yeah. But it's easier to be real and honest than, have lies and continue with lies and trying to figure out what lie you said last,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels so good. Even though it's so hard to be real, so hard to be real.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I know this for a fact that when you are real and you do have those moments, the Lord blesses you.
Yeah.
Chemically, you get a chemical euphoria.
Yeah.
And then along with that chemical euphoria, you get better results for your life situation.
Yeah.
All right. We're at 30 minutes. What's one last piece of advice you're going to leave the guests?
The last thing, be there for the family, guys. Be united. No matter what the problem is, there's always a solution for everything.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that. That's the
Yeah.
same ABA theology right there. I'm all theology. ABA theology. Dang, ABA from God. Yeah, let's do it. Well,
Yeah.
everyone, thank you for watching. Thank you for coming
Thanks for
on.
having
You're
me.
fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
First
Thanks,
female
guys.
on here, and I'm glad she was. All right, everyone. Have a good day. Peace.